Hi everybody, Jeffrey K. Howard here, Vegas film critic, here to review Free State of Jones starring Matthew McConaughey. Alright. Now, if you're a history buff, especially American history buff like I am, I used to love the History Channel. Remember when History Channel used to show history-related programs, not selling stuff at a pawn shop or restoring classic cars or restoring an old Coke machine? We actually had great specials about American history and all that kind of stuff. And it's all vanished. It's really sad. And Free State of Jones, I do remember, they don't teach this in history class. I took every kind of history course. I've never heard of this, but I did see a TV show called How the States Got Their Shapes. I don't know if you've seen that. I think it's on Netflix. Really fascinating. Have you ever looked at a United States map and go, how the hell, who drew this? Is someone who was drunk? Someone who was on drugs? Because every state has these weird different shapes. When you get to the state of Mississippi, they actually gave 15-20 minute story about the Free State of Jones. And what it was Newton, what was his name? Oh, for crying out loud. What was his name? Newton Knight. That was it. Newton Knight was in the Confederate Army, and he was pretty fed up with the Confederate Army, what they were doing to its own people, after secession from the Union. And they were, storing people's farms. They were raiding all of their food. They were just doing these horrible things to their own citizens. And he had enough of it. So he deserted the Army, and also a lot of ex-Army went with him also. So he started creating his own county, his own state, called Free State of Jones in eastern Mississippi. Also, a lot of slaves joined him too. So pretty much during the Civil War, they left him alone. Okay, so they did all these kind of raids, but they had bigger fish to fry than worry about some guy who took over, a county. And as long as it wasn't strategic, and as long as they weren't causing any trouble, the Union and the South kind of just left them alone. So Matthew McConaughey turns in this amazing performance as Newton Knight, who is inspirational and very progressive, because he also has a relationship with one of his slaves. Now, the movie comes in 2 hours, and it's a great history lesson. It really is, but I think it's got a limited appeal. If you like historical dramas, Free State of Jones is what you're looking for. But unfortunately, the movie doesn't have focus. The first hour is all about the Civil War, about the creation of the Free State of Jones, about what events happened to bring about for them to rebel, for them to desert the Confederacy and join the Union, essentially. And the opening of the movie is it reminds me of Saving Private Ryan. Remember they were storming Normandy on D-Day? Same thing happened here. We forget how brutal the Civil War was. And that was a war where all the casualties were Americans. Think about that. How many Americans died in World War II, World War I? But just think the Civil War was everybody who died was an American, all 100% casualties. So the opening of the film has this battle scene going on that is so reminiscent of Saving Private Ryan. It was brutal, and it wasn't modern warfare yet. So these guys were literally walking into cannons. They were being shot, and talk about survival rate. I mean, they're amputating legs, and it's just really intense. The opening of the movie really sets the tone on why Newton Knight deserted the Army and thought, you know what? There's got to be a better way to living than dying for somebody else and somebody else's causes. So in that aspect, I really admire the Free State of Jones, but then it just kind of goes off in 7 different directions, 7 different mini plots. They even do a fast forward into the 1950s, a trial going on from one of his kin about being mixed blood, because remember, Newton Knight married a slave. Well, he didn't marry a slave, but he had children with a slave girl. And so those kin, in Mississippi, it was illegal for him to marry a white woman. So you have this whole other story going on in contemporary times and flashing back to 1865. So that really got kind of weird. What are we doing? It really jarred the story. And not only that, after the Civil War, the movie goes on for another hour about the creation of the Klan, about the right to vote for blacks. I mean, it just starts chewing off so much that you're just confused. It was like a mini-series compacted into 2 hours. So I think that really affected the impact of the film by going off on 7 different tangents like that. From STX Entertainment, I think this is their first film, beautifully photographed, incredibly acted, but it just doesn't have the focus. So I'm just kind of torn on this movie too about, I love the first hour, and then the second hour is, wow, that's just way too much information, shoving it down our throats way too fast. Overall, Matthew McConaughey, hopefully you'll be remembered around awards time because you just delivered an amazing performance. Okay, for more reviews and interviews, surf on over to my website, vegasfilmcritic.com. Check me out on social media. I'm on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. I would love to hear from you. And if you like my review here on YouTube, please subscribe, share, and comment below. What did you think of the film? I'd love to know what you thought. Talk to me, people. That's why I'm here. I love discussing movies with you. From Las Vegas, where it's 110 today, I'm Jeffrey K. Howard. Thanks for watching. I appreciate it. I'll see you next time.